Welcome, everybody, to Week 9 of the NFL, our November 1 edition, coming at you. Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show. I'm G-Man. That there is T-Money. It all gets kicked off, T-Money, on Thursday. Titans and Steelers. Titans at the Steelers. Starts Thursday. We're recording on Wednesday. Steelers favored by 3 in that one, T-Money. How you doing?
Oh, good, G-Man. We just got some breaking news as well. The Raiders fired Josh McDaniel and their GM this morning as our heads are all on the pillow. Mark Davis trying to slip that one through, but everyone knew this was going to happen and should happen, so I'm proud of Mark Davis for making it. I think he should have done it before the trade deadline. That was probably not a smart move, but about time with them. But yeah, a lot happening. Not as crazy of a trade deadline as we wanted either. So not much to talk on there, but definitely an exciting week.
Yeah. Josh McDaniel's second head coaching stint that failed. So he's back to offensive coordinator, I think, for the rest of his career.
Yep. Yeah, he is.
He brought in Jimmy G. Jimmy G, 9 interceptions through 6 games. Devontae struggling and vocally unhappy. He's only got 142 receiving yards through 4 games, the last 4 games. And Josh Jacobs had the holdout and does not look good. They just had a team meeting before that game against Detroit. That's not a good sign. And then they come out and Detroit beat the pulp out of them. I don't know if he just lost the locker room, but they let him go and the GM. They were close friends. They came in basically together, and they both go out together, the GM and McDaniel.
Yep, about time.
And, who's going to call plays? They got the Giants at the Raiders. The Raiders are favored. Who's going to call the plays in that game? But they're not out of things. They're 3-5. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get this ship upright and get going. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to the NFC. Let's talk about the 49ers, T-Money. They've lost 3 in a row. They're not even in first place in the NFC West. Amazing. Are you worried about them going forward?
Definitely worried right now. I think – I'm not shocked at Brock Purdy struggling. That's not shocking to me as someone who has seen Jimmy G in the system. Brock Purdy has been trailing lately, and when they don't have a lead and everyone knows he has to pass, who knew? He didn't know how to throw the ball. It's the defense that's more concerning, though. The defense has not been great lately, and that's what's really concerning is Joe Mixon ran all over them like he was Barry Sanders back in the day. He comes in and shreds them up. Kirk Cousins does the opposite. The Vikings don't run the ball well. Kirk Cousins just shreds them on Monday Night Football, picks them apart, and really just keeps the ball away from that offense. So it's been really interesting. And then to have P.J. Walker, they just got dominated their offensive line without Trent Williams. Those 3 games all kind of came in different phases. So they upgraded with Chase Young. I mean, I don't know how much better that's going to make them. It seems like it's sort of their back end more than it is their front, but it's their defense that's more concerning for me. I think the offense is going to end up being fine just because Kyle Shanahan can dial up so many open throws. But there's a lot to be concerned about here, and their schedule doesn't get any easier moving forward.
Well, T-Money, you're a little bit more pessimistic than I am on this post-Halloween morning. And I hope you gave out some treats last night because you're not giving out any treats here. San Francisco, I'm excited about. Chase Young, baby. Young and Bosa on that defense? Who wants to be quarterback against that? This is a big move, man. That guy is huge, and he's fast, and he was the number 1 pick.
And he went to Ohio State. You got to leave that part out. That's why you love that duo.
If he stood up next to you, you'd be looking at his belly button. You know what I'm saying? This guy is friggin' unbelievable. What a move. John Lynch knows how to run a team. I love John Lynch. These guys make moves. You think of all the other teams that could have done something at the trade line. Look at the Raiders. They didn't do anything. They could have done something. John Lynch goes out and gets the top guy that he could have gotten. I mean, this is amazing. And I still think Purdy's a very good quarterback. I won't say great, but the guy ignites this offense more than Jimmy G did. He's
Low
throwing the ball
bar.
down the field. He's going to throw interceptions, but his offense is elevated under him. So I think the pass attempts, they're last in the league in pass attempts, and that I call that the Christian McCaffrey effect. Last in the league in pass attempts.
Yeah. It's crazy. That's an interesting stat. I also saw, because they run so many little plays, like with Brock Purdy, like you said, they don't pass the ball a lot. If you look at an interesting stat is turnover worthy plays by touches, right? So not fumbles by the running back, or, hey, I might have not thrown a ton of total interceptions, but I also might not have thrown a lot of balls. Right now, Brock Purdy is 6th in the NFL in turnover-worthy play percentage at 5% of his plays. And the guys ahead of him are like Mac Jones, PJ Walker, Gardner Minshew, all these guys that are backups. And then Brock Purdy. They got to be concerned moving forward as well. They come out of their bye, and they got a tough one versus 6-2 Jags. They get it, a decent Bucks team they play, but that's still a frisky team. Then they go Seahawks, Eagles, Seahawks. The next 4 or 5 games are going to be really, really tough. And they could be looking at potentially a losing record after that. So they got to be careful here to not dig themselves a hole, and make sure they just keep Brock Purdy, in child protective, silicone or something. Just don't let him get hit. Protect him. Don't let him touch the ball. But hey, let's move on. And I want to talk about the NFL MVP. No one seems to be separating themselves right now. Typically a quarterback award. But Tyreek Hill playing out of his mind right now. Can he win the NFL MVP?
Well, could he win it? Yes. But will he? No. But I still love him. I love him. I mean, we'll look at what he's accomplished: 1,000 yards and eight receiving touchdowns, leads the NFL, and he's on pace for some career high marks. He's killing it. And we've seen all the stats. Out of the 12 favorites to win the MVP, only 2 are not quarterbacks. If you look at the top 12 favorites right now, and Tyreek Hill is one of those. The other one's McCaffrey. McCaffrey is ahead of Hill. I just don't see Hill getting past McCaffrey in this voting. And I don't see Hill getting past Tua. If Hill does great, Tua's going to get it first. Tua's up in front of him in terms of the voting. I acknowledge Tyreek's stats, and then he's doing great and all of that. I just don't think he can win the MVP.
Yeah. It's going to be very difficult for him. If I was to choose McCaffrey versus Tua, I would actually go, versus Tyreek, I would go Tyreek. McCaffrey, although has scored a touchdown in every game, I know, really, his yards per game or yards per carry has gone down over these last few games. And, he's been not rushing the ball as well. He's I think averaging 40 yards a game right now, the last 3 games. He's really not playing well. So I can't give him a ton of credit. Whereas Tua, no matter if they're winning or losing, that guy's behind the DBs and the safety. Like he is Tyreek. Such a game breaker, Tyreek. And right now on pace to break the NFL receiving record and to do it in 16 games, which is big for a lot of people, right? Not that 17th game. You get some extra padding there. If he could break that record, especially in 16 games with Tua not putting up ungodly stats, right? Tua's really not right now. I think he could win this thing because there's not many guys trying to win this thing at quarterback in a year that's kind of odd. We're already halfway through the season. I wouldn't be surprised if he could sneak this one out, and I think he should. I think we got to stop making this a QB only award.
Yeah. No, I like your point, and I like Tyreek. He's so exciting. And, Mahomes and Tua were neck and neck in this MVP voting for a while, and then Hurts caught up. Hurts caught up to them now. He had a 4-touchdown performance this past weekend. Hurts did. And the other guy moving up is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson now in 4th and he's moving up. So it all depends on, what happens with these teams, who's going to get the wins. Big game this weekend here with the Dolphins in Germany against the Chiefs. And we'll see who wins that game. That could mean something here in terms of who emerges for this MVP voting. And Tyreek going to face his old team, first time team money since he was traded to Miami. He is going to face the Chiefs, his old team.
Going to be interesting.
Yeah, it really is. And Kansas City coming out of the gates. I like Kansas City in this one. I think the Chiefs miss Tyreek, though. They really need Tyreek right now, but they're still doing well, and I still think they win this game. Hey, shout out to our show sponsor, Blue Tees Golf. Go to blueteesgolf.com, everybody. Find affordable, high-quality golf products. Get your game going for this upcoming spring. Yes, it's November. Enter the coupon code FSHS. Get 10% discount on your order. T-Money. Let's go back to Tyreek's former team, the Chiefs, and talk about them. And we said they missed Tyreek, of course. Do you think they need to trade, or how do they get this wide receiver one that they seem to be missing?
Yeah, they definitely should have traded for one at the deadline. I just don't know who was available, right? All these teams sort of think that they're in contention. The Raiders are 3-5, and they're like, we still got a chance in the AFC. Like, no, you don't. Why aren't you trading him? I think that goes to show why he was fired. But I do think they could have used another wide receiver. Denver thinks they're alive and they're not. They could have traded for a guy like Jerry Jeudy. Cortland Sutton would have been nice for them. Donovan Peoples-Jones goes to Detroit. I just think some sort of extra playmaker would have been nice to go get Mike Evans, from Tampa Bay. But look, they proved they could do this last year. They proved they didn't need a number one. Don't tell me Juju Smith-Schuster is this game breaker, okay? He was crappy before he got to Kansas City. He can't even get on the field in New England, which is an indictment on itself. And they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle without a number one. Their offense is going to be fine. Rashid Rice looks legit. I think they should have traded for one. I understand why they didn't. They won a Super Bowl not having a number one receiver. So they'll be okay. It's Kansas City Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes. They'll be okay.
Well, the Chiefs have somehow done this run, this historical run here of how well they've done in recent years without really having the great players. They have not had great running backs, and now they seem to distribute the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
But the guy that does not seems like he's down is Kelce. He just doesn't seem to be 100% the connection there. I do think he gets a touchdown this week, Kelce from Mahomes, but they have not had that dominant force connection like we've seen in the past. I do like the defense, though. Chiefs defense is getting better. I think the offense is a little out of sync, and I do think they're going to win this game against Miami.
Yeah, that's what they gave up, right? They gave up the option to pay elite receivers for an elite defense. And they do have an elite defense. Their defense is great. Last week, they had 5 turnovers. Like, of course, they're going to lose the damn game. And divisional games are hard, and it was snowing, and Patrick Mahomes was sick. I agree. Kelce hasn't looked himself, but at the same time, he had 100 yards at halftime a week ago. So, before that game. So
he has the potential. We know that.
They're going to be fine. They're going to be dangerous. Kelce's one of the most dangerous pass catching weapons. So they have a number one. Don't tell me they have a number. Name Miami's tight end.
He is the wide receiver one.
That's what I'm saying. Name Miami's tight end. No one knows Miami's tight end because Tyreek Hill is the number one pass catcher. Travis Kelce, number one pass catcher. So they're going to be fine. But I want to talk about the team with the best record in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's Philadelphia. Now, I'm not asking for the standings here. I'm asking for what does G-Man think? Do you think they are the best team in the NFL?
Oh, man, look at you. I give you the facts, and I give you my opinion. Okay? Hey, man, are they the best team in the NFL? Well, they're the best team in the NFC if they win this Sunday. Are they going to win this Sunday, Team Money? I need to see more before I'm going to call them the best team in the NFL. They have to win this game. This is going to be a big game here with Dallas at Philly. Philly favored by 3. It's going to be close, and Dallas could win. I also still like Detroit. So when you look at the teams over there in the NFC, I mean, those are 3 teams that could win that conference right there. That Detroit looked great again. So I don't count them out in that NFC. Hey, man, you start comparing to the AFC. I don't know about Philly. Okay. AFC, I think, is stronger, but Philly could come out of that NFC. They're 7-1 and are winning, even though they don't look great. They still have not hit their top notch yet.
Yeah.
So this team can get better. We just have not seen them really click yet.
Yeah.
They've struggled and won.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I definitely think they're the best in the NFC. That's no question to me. The Cowboys are fake. The Niners.
What if the Cowboys win this weekend?
I don't care.
What would you say?
Talk to me in the playoffs. I don't care.
Don't have confidence in Dallas in the playoffs.
No,
yeah,
I don't have confidence in Dallas to win multiple games. They're front runners. And I find the Bills very similar in that way. They get a lead, they're great. But if they're coming from behind, Dallas all of a sudden turns into a pumpkin. Now, I think the Niners are going to be fine, but the Eagles are clearly the best team in the NFC to me. The Lions are a great story. I think they'll win a playoff game, but they're not on the same level as the Eagles are. But if you compare them to the AFC, I agree with you, G. That's tough. The AFC is so hard, and there's so many elite quarterbacks. I mean, people aren't even talking about the Ravens. They're 6-2. You know, like the amount of good teams, good players, good quarterbacks in the AFC. I think whoever comes out of the AFC is probably better, and there might be 1 or 2 better teams. The Eagles don't have a chance because they do have an elite team. But I'll take a lot of other teams in the AFC before I crown the Eagles the best team in the NFL right now.
Hey, remember before the season, we picked them and Kansas City to get to the final. I picked Philly to win it all this year. So, Philly fans, I love you, man. I picked you to win the title. But I'm talking from what I've seen so far. Hey, let's roll the tape, T-Money, back to week 2 when I brought up the thought that Will Levis could start and how he would do. And I think if we could roll the tape, producer, back to T-Money shooting me down, saying, Will Levis will never start an NFL game in his life.
Did not say that.
T-Money, can we roll that tape back to week 2, please? Can we get the producer? Yeah, let's go. Will Levis at his first start last week, and he looked good. Should he start the rest of the year for the Titans?
Okay, he did look really, really good. I will give him that. That was a really impressive performance. Okay, so my bad for Will Levis here, the mayo eating guy. I should like this guy. He puts mayo in his coffee. You know, it's a weird dude.
No, I didn't hear that.
As his creamer. Look, he beat the Falcons. Now, the Falcons are a solid team, but they're not great. Look, he's throwing the ball downfield. I'm sure DeAndre Hopkins thrilled. But I think he should start the rest of the year. Ryan Tannehill's not the answer there. They're going to move on from him. He showed out. Now, Ryan Tannehill is coming back from injury, but I think this is going to be the next game, the game versus Steelers here. If he goes out and has a 0 touchdown, 2 interception game, they might go back to Tannehill, right? They're 3-4 right now. You know, everyone thinks they still have a chance. They might go back to Tannehill. But if he throws a decent game, he's probably the starter the rest of the year, and I think he should be. You know, Titans, where are you going? You need to give this guy reps. He looks solid. You know, you're not going to win the division or the AFC. So go to show a little this guy some tape, some reps, some live reps. Get the guy you drafted high some experience. So, I think he should start the rest of the year. Nice job, Will Levis. You looked good.
Hey, I don't know about the rest of the year. I'd like to see him start the next 3 games. They got 3 road games right here coming up: Steelers, Bucks, and Jags. Let's give him a shot. I feel like you. Let's give him a shot. This guy's a big arm, man.
Yeah.
He's going to be exciting to watch. He throws the ball deep. D-Hop got 7 targets. D-Hop's ecstatic right now.
Yeah.
And he's getting the throws and are coming down the field. And Levis is going to be aggressive. He's going to be fun. But let's see how he does in this road stretch here. The Steelers are favored. He's going on the road at the Steelers. They're favored by 3. Should be close. Over-under is down to 36.5. You got Mitch Trubisky throwing for Pittsburgh and Levis. We'll see what happens here with these two backup quarterbacks facing off here on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go on to Big Bets Team Money. We got some bets for everybody. The father-son sports team is just kicking butt here on Big Bets, and we're going to try to bring it for you again today. We've got 70% against the spread for the year, including player props. G-Man is 85%, man. There's no way we can keep this up. But we're going to try. We're going to try like heck here, man. Let's go to our lock pick of the week and then our dog lock. And then we got some player props for you. And Team Money started off with your lock pick of the week.
All right. My lock pick of the week here is Chargers -3 at the Jets. I just don't see how the Jets can score enough to keep up with these guys. I mean, their last few games have been embarrassingly low. They just squeeze out a win this past week, but they're scoring 13, 20, 20, 10, 10, 16. I don't see how they're scoring points here versus the Chargers. Give me the Chargers to win this one.
All right. Hey, I'm going to go to that game in Germany, man. I'm going to go to the game in Germany. Miami against the Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 2.5. Go grab that 2.5 right now before it goes to 3. Miami actually has not beat a team with a winning record, Team Money, at the time that they played them since week 3 of last year. Also, the Chiefs are 16-3 straight up after a loss since Patrick Mahomes became a starter. They come out after they lose and they fix it for his career. Mahomes has a spread. When he has a spread lower than 3.5, Mahomes is 14-4 against the spread. That's 78%. Give me Mahomes. Give me that Chiefs defense in Germany. Miami's going down.
All right. Very interesting. My dog lock of the week is going to be the Buffalo Bills. All right. They're +2.5 versus Cincinnati.
Going against your boys.
This feels like a little bit of a trap game for my Cincinnati Bengals here. They're at home. They're feeling frisky. It's going to be Sunday night football, and they're coming off a couple big wins to get them back in contention. They're now 4-3, and they beat the Niners. Everyone's talking about it. They've won 3 straight. I have a feeling Buffalo's going to come in here and really put their foot down, and I think they're going to win this one. I just have an odd feeling that my Bengals aren't ready for the Bills to come in here and put up 30. They got a really good defense, and so I think they're going to catch the Bengals off guard, get a little cocky.
I don't know. I like these guys behind me, man. I like these guys behind me. We will see. You're giving up on your boys here. Hey, let's go to G-Man's dog lock picker. I'm going to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, where the Seahawks are coming into town against the Ravens. And Pete Carroll gets his team up for these kind of competitions. The Ravens are also 4-13 against the spread in their last 17 games as favored of 4 or more. They don't do well as big favorites. The Seahawks on the other end are 19-5 against the spread as an underdog of 4 or more. This thing's at 6. Seahawks +6, and they're leading the NFC West. Give me the Seahawks. I would buy this up to +7. You can buy from 6 up to 7, and you got it. Dog lock pick of the week right there.
All right. I like it, G-Man. I like teasing it up to 7. Now to everyone's favorite betting segment. That's G-Man's player prop of the week. He's on fire. What do you got for us, G-Man?
Hey, last 4 weeks we're 5-0. Last week we gave you 2 on Jahmyr Gibbs. You hit them both. We gave
T-Money joined you on that bet, so I thank you for that one.
And we had 2 on Tyreek, and I'm going here again. I got 4 picks for him. Going here again to Tyreek. Anytime touchdowns -120. That means if you bet 120, you win 100. Tyreek anytime touchdown. Easy. Kansas City gave up touchdowns last week to Judy and Sutton passing. They're going to give one up to Tyreek. I also like the Dolphins with Tua over 1.5 touchdowns. I think he's going to throw for more than at least 2 touchdowns in this game. So even though I like Kansas City to win, I like the player props on the Miami side. I'll go to these guys behind me for the next player prop here, my third player prop, and I'm going with Jamar Chase here. Over 5 reception. He has over 5 receptions every game. They like to throw to him short, let him run after the catch, getting that yak, yards after catch. So give me Chase over on receptions. And the final one, team money, is CD Lamb. Anytime touchdown against the Eagles. Dallas really looked good last week with CD. The Eagles last week let Sam Howell throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. And you tell me Dak and CD can't throw for a touchdown? It's going to happen.
All right. I like it. G-Man's hot.
Hey, got it right. I got it right. And let's go on to our last segment here, Fantasy T-Money. All you fantasy managers, how you doing in your leagues, man? T-Money and I are battling for our playoff lives, and we are both going to make it, of course. What do you think? But let's talk about fantasy lineups. We got some buys up going on this week. In the AFC, we've got Jacksonville and Denver on buys. And the NFC, we got the 49ers and Detroit, 2 big teams in the NFC on buys here. We're here to get you ready, baby. Keep in mind, we record our shows on Wednesday, so a lot can change by Sunday. We got 3 games for you, hot and cold, take a mistake, and daily fantasy lineups, the DFS segment. Let's go to hot and cold T-Money, where we give you starts and sits, players that are going to come through or are going to break your heart. I'm going to start with the come through guys on the hot side. Last week, I gave you Dak, man, for my hot quarterback. He had 34 points. This week, I'm going with the guy behind me, Joe Burrow, at home against the Bills on Sunday night. Burrow completed 28 passes for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they beat the 49ers. Big win there for Joe. And I like Joe here again as my quarterback. Burrow and Chase are at it again. He threw 10 receptions, 10 completions to Chase. Chase had 100 yards and a touchdown. I like Burrow's value on DraftKings more than anything. $6,400. How do you pass that up? Joe Burrow, my upside quarterback hot pick of the week.
All right, Joey B. Let's see what happens. My cold pick of the week is someone who's headed to the cold, and that's Matt Stafford at Green Bay, projected for 14.7. I know a lot of people are probably thinking of starting him because there's a good amount of people on buys this week. I would stay away from him. I would go with a guy even like Will Levis or CJ Stroud over Matthew Stafford right now. He has not been over 14 points the last 3 weeks. He hasn't been over 16.8 in one game the entire year. And this Green Bay defense is number 11 versus fantasy QBs. I'm not looking at Matt Stafford as a start this week. He's injured as well. So going up to the freezing tundra at Green Bay, I'm going with Matthew Stafford as my cold pick of the week.
Yeah, Rams are falling off of the wagon here. I don't know if they're going to make it. They're falling apart. And Stafford, without Stafford, I don't know what Puka and Kupp do. And Stafford may not even play. Make sure you check that before the game, everybody. Hey, last week at running back, we gave you Jahmyr Gibbs, 33 fantasy points for Jahmyr. This week at running back, I'm giving you Zach Moss. Zach Moss, that's right. He rushed the ball 12 times for 95 yards and a touchdown. Caught a pass for 8 yards. Something's going on with JT. I don't know what it is, but Moss is getting a lot of touches. Yeah. This thing's going to keep splitting. The Indy offense is also finding its rhythm. They are passing the ball. They're running the ball. They're up against Carolina, weak run defense. He's only $5,800 on DraftKings, and he had 14 fantasy points last week. Zach Moss, upside running back, hot pick of the week.
All right. I like Zach Moss. Maybe I'll throw him in my starting lineup. My God,
it's a good value on DraftKings.
Good value. Hey, my cold running back of the week is going to be Amari Demercado, the starting running back for the Arizona Cardinals, projected for just about 11 points this week. And again, this is a flex option that you might be leaning towards. I don't see the upside here. He had 20 touches last week and a catch. So 21 total touches last week, and the guy only had 8.9 points. So the efficiency is not there. and he's going up against the top 10 rushing defense in Cleveland. And so he's at Cleveland. It's going to be a tough matchup. That defense is stout. And I don't think even if he scored a touchdown, he gets the double-digit points in fantasy.
Okay, good one. Let's go to wide receiver. Last week, we gave you Jordan Addison. He had 22 points. Come on, baby. This week, who do we got? I'm going D-Hop. We talked about Will Levis throwing deep to D-Hop. D-Hop's getting the targets. He was listed as limited on Monday's practice. Make sure you check it out. He's got a little bit of a toe injury, but if he goes, get him in your lineup. He's got great value, $6,000 on DraftKings. D-Hop's my upside wide receiver hot pick of the week.
Okay, I like it. D-Hop's got to be thrilled right now. Hey, my cold wide receiver of the week is Michael Pittman Jr., all right? He's projected for 14.2 versus Carolina. You might think Carolina's not good. Well, they're 7th versus wide receivers in fantasy right now. And although, yes, Pittman has had 18 and 16 the past 2 weeks in fantasy football points scored, that's because he's had 2 touchdowns in a row. I don't think he gets a touchdown this week, and that is going to hold him back from hitting his ceiling. I don't think he breaks double digits in fantasy football points this week. So Michael Pittman Jr., I do
like that. I do like that Colts offense, though, but maybe Pittman doesn't do it. Maybe it's somebody else.
Josh Downs seems to be becoming the guy there, so watch out.
He does, yeah. Our next game's take or mistake here. I pick a player that had a big week last week. Team Money tells me whether we should take the bait this week or would that be a mistake. Team Money, let's ask you about Dak Prescott in that big Sunday afternoon game versus the Eagles. He completed 25 passes for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns last game. Put up 43 points. The offense looked unstoppable, Team Money, and he's been a great fantasy option over the past couple of weeks. But will Dak slow down against the Eagles on Sunday? Team Money, are you trusting Dak this week? And is he a take as a must-start QB, or would that be a mistake?
Looking at my options, he might be a must-start here. Right. There's a lot of teams on buys with the Lions and who else we have? The Lions, the Denver with Russ, San Francisco, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff. They're all on buys. Dak's been over 24 points the last 2 weeks. And Philly's defense, their back end is one of the worst in the NFL. Their passing defense versus QBs, they're 30th in the league, the Eagles right now. So everyone is playing well versus the Eagles, even guys like Sam Howell. So yeah, he's his start this week. I think it's going to be more of a shootout than people think. It's not going to be like the Niners game. That defense is not to the Niners level. And so I don't think they're going to be able to just shut Dak Prescott out like the Niners did. I do think he is a must start this week.
Okay, good. We got you on one there. Good. Hey, Let's go to our DFS lineup for the week. We won another tournament, Team Money. We won the DraftKings tournament, 11-man tournament. Won it again last week, man.
Gee, man.
Starting these guys that we tell you about. 3rd win of the year for Father Son Sports on DraftKings, 11-man tournaments. We've been in the top 5 every week, but 1 in these DraftKings tournaments. This week, Team Money, I'm going to give you my lineup. It's a lot of the guys we talked about. I'm going with Joe Burrow at the quarterback. I think he's going to play well against the Bills. At running back, I'm going Saquon as my big guy. He's expensive, but he should go off against these Raiders. And I'm going to put in Zach Moss with him. I talked about Zach Moss, only $5,800. I got Chase and Higgins right in the Higgins had a big week last week, and he's only $6,100. So I popped him in there in case Burrow wants to hit him a few times. We got D-Hop at the other wide receiver. Make sure he's not injured. I got tight end Dalton Kincaid. Buffalo should score some points. Dalton Kincaid's getting throws. And the other guy from Buffalo that should get it, Shakir at my flex. He's only $3,300, but he got a lot of throws last week. Without Knox in there, they're kind of spreading the ball around. Shakir is getting some of those throws.
Yeah.
At DST, I'm going with the Giants against Vegas, only $2,300. There's your DFS lineup, baby.
All right. I like it, G.
Hey, let's wrap it up, Team Money. That's it for today's show. Thank you to our sponsors, Blue Tees Golf. Go to blueteesgolf.com, put in FSHS, get a 10% discount, everybody. We hope you had fun. Hope you got some great tips. NFL Week 9 coming at you. Father-son sports loves bringing you the energy on behalf of Team Money. I'm G-Man. See you next week.
All right. Peace.